Here we are. It's been done since Thursday. It's now Sunday. It's cleared up. The bloom I had is gone. The bacteria bloom is gone. It was milky for a day and a half. It's planted. It was now I'm not sure. This time I used the Amazonia for shrimp safe soil, and there's only one bag in here. So it's really only around the base of the wood where the rooted plants would be. That's it. And then it's sand, and it is a fine sand, and I have been warned about the pockets of gas, and I have been warned about cyanobacteria, and I will watch out for those things, and I will stir up the sand every time my hand's in there, which is daily to every couple of days at this point. And I'll watch for that, and that'll be on top of mind. But I have quite a lot of plants in here, a lot more than they did before. I'm not sure if you can tell, it's a triangular composition. It only leaves about 1 foot, 4 feet of it is planted. But I really wanted an area where my pygmy cories could come out and scurry around and I could actually see them. I'm going to feed them out there. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And so currently I'm still sitting at 0.25 ammonia. My pH is about 7 to 7.2, which is a lot higher than I wanted, especially when I put in 35 gallons of RO water mixed with my tap water, plus the Amazonia soil buffering, plus the CO2 buffering. I do have sphagnum moss, peat moss I can put in the filter. Here's a question for you all. I know that it's if you don't want the tannins in the water, they say to boil it first or soak it for 2 to 3 days first. It's supposed to last 2 months in the filter. It's for a 70-gallon tank. I would need to put 2 in 1 filter to do this tank, so it'll be $40 every 2 months. Not concerned about that, but what I am concerned about is the color. I do prefer a clear tank, especially when the plants, which I'll go over the plant list in a second, are going to be so large. You saw how they were in the other tank, in this tank previous to this rebuild. They do get quite large, so the fish are going to have enough cover. I don't want the tannins in the water. So I've heard people say, well, if you put carbon in the other filter to take out the color, what's the point? Well, here's my question. Is the color what makes the hardness of the water go down? The minerals in the color that's in the water? So if I put the carbon in, will the minerals that are bringing the water hardness down come out as well? Or is it just removing the color but the peat moss is still doing its job? So anybody can answer that, that would be fantastic, because that in my head is the solution. Because an RO system, for some reason Canada doesn't have what you have in the UK, doesn't have what you have in the States. I can only get my hands on spiderwood right now, so I thought, why bother? Go get new stuff, and I've reused my old stuff. I would have preferred nice huge chunk of bogwood that was really gnarly, or anything with spiderwood. It's a little spindly for me. I like bigger chunky pieces. A couple of spindly pieces is okay coming off the wood, but this is all spindly, so the plants will fill that in. So if anybody can answer that question on the peat moss, that would be fantastic. So plant list. We got, from the old setup, we got Anubias nana, Anubias nana petite, Crypt Wendy T. Brown. We got Crypt Hobbit, which is here at the end. So cute. Look at that. So cute. I had a lot more of that in the other tank, but because it was shaded and undercover, they didn't make it. Christmas moss. Smaller pieces of the needle leaf Java fern. It'll get big again, and this time I'm going to keep it smaller. AR Mini, which I've cut right down. Nice and flat. Hopefully it'll color up now that it's out in the open. And I took some Bacopa, just 2-3 little strands right there from my frog tank. Hey guys. You can see I've got Bacopa growing in there. So anyway, the new additions are bulbitis, which I really like. Tiger lotus, right there. It's gonna fill up that whole spot right there, which is, I know it looks naked, but that's purpose. Room for the tiger lotus. Pygmy chainsword. Cute as all get out. I hope it stays that compact and fills that in under that little archway like a path. Giant hydrophilia, which I'm going to keep short and bushy. Hydrophilia polysperma rosenrig, which I believe is this little pink plant I have planted in here, and then it kind of spills down here. This was actually, this Anubias was actually from my old tank too, from the old setup. Hidden and turned a little bit yellow and was dying off. I don't remember what it's called. It's a pointy leaf one. Sorry, that was missed. That is from my old setup. I have Crypt Wendy T green gecko. Super pretty. Look how pretty that is. Love the color. It's a huge pop. And, oh, the Christmas moss. Also, little bits I found stuck in between Anubias plants in the old setup. And I glued it on the wood exactly like I had it in the old place. And remember, it grew so huge and beautiful, and I gave away moss pads the size of a man's hand and hated it on trim day. So we'll see if I hate it. If I hate it, I will take it off and I will replace that with something else. Maybe baby tears or something that's not so aggressive when it grows. But that's it. So I have 14 different plants in this setup. It's more than I've ever had in one setup, and I'm really looking forward to the variety. I love all the different colored greens as my favorite. I added red for interest sakes for other people. And the Wendy brown crip I've always had, and I love, it's like a deep olive green to me. It's not really brown, but beautiful. Anyway, that's the new setup. Still waiting for my chemicals to come down in the tank. As I said, ammonia is at 0.25. My pH is at about 7.2. Nitrates, nothing yet. And nitrite, didn't test for it. Well, why bother? Until my ammonia's gone, I'm not going to bother. So that's where I'm at. GH. Okay, so GH. Such a confusing, when I'm online and I'm reading what people's GH is. I've told carbon, the KH is not anything to even worry about. Don't even test for it. GH is what's important, so that's what I do. Every now and then I'll do a KH test for giggles, but I don't really get much from it. So when I look at this test, it tells me that right now I've got 12 drops, so the very bottom of the chart. You can tell when I was testing before, it was 13 drops for my old setup on July 1st, 2019. It was still that hard, and that was with the regular ADA soil at full strength, not the shrimp safe one. And I had 4 bags in here, I think. Maybe, yeah, close to 4 bags in here. So this time it's 12 drops. So if I'm reading it right, I'm sitting at a GH of 214.8, right? But when you read GH online, it'll say GH of 11. What does that mean? 11 drops? Like, what are they? It seems to be all over. I find it very difficult to read what the fish's parameters are supposed to be online, because it doesn't align with this test kit ever. It aligns with, I don't know what. Are they saying drops, or are they saying parts per million? Because it never has that part. It doesn't say drops or parts per million. It just gives you a number, and it doesn't align with this chart, so it frustrates me. But currently I'm at 12 drops at 214.8 parts per million GH. and I would like it lower for my green rasboras and my scarlet batis and my pygmy cories. I would like it to be around 8 drops at 143.2 parts per million. So I'm going to give it some more time. Hopefully I'll see it drop, because I mean, obviously it dropped in my old tank when it was at 13 drops. It did go down to 8. And it went down to 8. Oh, I don't know what I did there. But it did go down to 8. So I'm going to give it some more days and keep testing. And I'd really like to know your thoughts on the peat moss and the filter. Thanks. I hope you like the new setup. And please know that the old setup was premium growth. You're looking at it at peak growth time. And these are all very young cut back plants. And we've got 2 fluval lights on the top there. Almost full strength. I've always kept it at almost factory setting, almost full strength. And I do have injected CO2 happening. So I have no doubt the plants will be big and robust, and a huge difference in just a month, 2 months time. Today is September 12th, 2021.